guys that I hang out with aren't. They're, you know, not really superficial like that, and they do all right with the ladies.
He's got the same friends for a while, too.
Do you know who I am? You're gonna beg to get back into the pizza business.
He's trying to do what's...
Fuck you!
Remember when HBO meant The Sopranos and nothing else? Then, in 2004, they dropped a show about a movie star and his 3 childhood friends living the Hollywood dream. And suddenly, everyone wanted to be a struggling actor's entourage. The show that made being someone's friend seem like an actual career path and convinced an entire generation that Hollywood was just parties and private jets.
You really have an entourage because you can't say no.
I'm not good at saying no. That is a problem.
Today, we're diving into 15 weird and wonderful facts about the series that defined mid-2000s bro culture. The show was based on Mark Wahlberg's actual life.
And I came here today because I thought this was a session on how my wife could learn to communicate.
Entourage wasn't fiction. It was Mark Wahlberg's real life, with names changed. Wahlberg grew up in Boston with childhood friends who moved to LA with him when his career took off. The character dynamics mirror his actual relationships exactly. Johnny Drama is based on Wahlberg's brother Donnie, the older sibling with a less successful career. Eric is based on his real manager. Turtle represents multiple friends who became assistants. Wahlberg executive produced and gave creator Doug Ellen complete access to his experiences, the good parties, the career struggles, the celebrity encounters. Many storylines came directly from Wahlberg's actual Hollywood journey. The show's authenticity came from not having to invent the lifestyle, they just dramatized what was already happening. Wahlberg even cameos as himself occasionally, playing a fictionalized version, while the show depicts his real life through Vincent Chase. It's meta in ways most people didn't realize while watching. Jeremy Piven almost didn't get cast as Ari Gold. Jeremy Piven auditioned for Ari Gold, but HBO executives weren't convinced. They wanted a bigger name, someone with movie star recognition to anchor the show. Piven had done mostly supporting roles in comedies, wasn't a household name, and seemed too neurotic for a power agent character. HBO offered the role to other actors first, all of whom passed. Piven kept campaigning for it, doing multiple auditions and chemistry reads. What changed? Doug Ellen fought for him relentlessly, insisting Piven understood the character's aggressive energy and vulnerability. HBO finally relented, giving Piven a chance for the pilot only. His performance was so explosive, they couldn't imagine anyone else. Piven won 3 consecutive Emmy Awards for the role and became the show's breakout star. The character HBO almost didn't let him play, became his career-defining performance, and arguably the only reason most people watched later seasons. Real celebrities played themselves without scripts. Entourage's celebrity cameos were mostly unscripted improvisation. Production would contact celebrities, explain the general scene setup, and let them riff as themselves. Matt Damon, LeBron James, Bob Saget, Jessica Alba, dozens of A-listers appeared playing exaggerated versions of themselves with minimal scripted dialogue. This created authentic moments because celebrities weren't acting, just reacting naturally to situations. It also meant some cameos were wildly inappropriate or too honest and had to be cut. Tom Brady filmed a scene that got entirely deleted for being too Tom Brady. The looseness made cameos feel spontaneous rather than stiff. Some celebrities loved it and kept improvising long after scenes ended, creating hours of unusable footage. Others froze without scripts and had to be coaxed through takes. The show's insider Hollywood credibility came from treating celebrities like friends dropping by, not guest stars hitting marks. It worked because most of them actually were friends with Wahlberg or Ellen. The show's budget tripled. After Season 1 of Entourage was shot guerrilla style with a modest budget, real LA locations, and minimal crew. HBO wasn't sure the show would succeed, so they kept costs low. When ratings exploded and critical acclaim followed, HBO tripled the budget for Season 2. Suddenly the show could afford bigger celebrity cameos, elaborate party scenes, exotic locations, and extended shooting schedules. The tonal shift is visible Season 1 feels intimate and grounded. Season 2 onwards looks like a luxury commercial. Production rented actual mansions, threw real parties with hundreds of extras, and flew to international locations for single episodes. The increased budget made the show's fantasy elements more fantastical, but arguably less relatable. Early seasons had charm because Vincent Chase's success felt achievable. Later seasons, when they're casually flying to Cannes or buying mansions, felt like a different show entirely. The budget increase made Entourage visually spectacular, but narratively less interesting. Adrien Grenier, Vince, hated playing a movie star. Adrien Grenier was deeply uncomfortable playing Vincent Chase, a character whose entire identity is being famous and wealthy. Grenier is politically progressive, environmentally conscious, and skeptical of celebrity culture. He spent 8 seasons playing someone who represented everything he opposed. In interviews during the show's run, Grenier barely hid his disdain for Vince's lifestyle and values. He'd show up to promotional events and critique the show's materialism and superficiality while literally being there to promote it. This created tension with producers who wanted him to embrace the role enthusiastically. Grenier's performance suffers from his obvious disconnect. Vince feels empty because the actor playing him thought the character was empty. After Entourage ended, Grenier mostly quit acting to focus on environmental activism and documentaries. He's admitted the show's success felt hollow, and he's proud of almost nothing from those years, except the paycheck. The show's lead actor, spending 8 seasons hating his character, is remarkable. Kevin Connolly, directed multiple episodes. While acting in them, Kevin Connolly, who played Eric, started directing Entourage episodes in Season 4 while simultaneously acting in them. This is extremely rare in television. Actors occasionally direct episodes they're not in, but directing yourself while performing is logistically nightmarish. Connolly had to act in scenes, then immediately review playback and give direction to other actors, including himself. He'd watch his own performance and decide if he needed another take, essentially having conversations with himself about whether his acting was good enough. The crew found it bizarre initially, but Connolly proved capable. He directed 16 episodes total across the series, more than any other director on the show. His episodes have a specific energy because he understood the characters intimately from inside the show. After Entourage, Connolly transitioned primarily to directing, working on shows like The Rookie. The role that made him famous became his film school, learning directing by doing it while acting simultaneously. Ari Gold was based on a real super agent who sued the show. Ari Gold was directly based on Ari Emanuel, one of Hollywood's most powerful agents and co-founder of William Morris Endeavor. Doug Ellen knew Emanuel personally and used his aggressive negotiating style, phone-throwing temper, and cutthroat tactics as inspiration. Emanuel initially loved the exposure. The character made super agents look powerful and exciting. Then Season 3 featured storylines where Ari does increasingly unethical things, lies to clients, sabotages competitors, and generally behaves terribly. Emanuel's lawyers sent HBO cease and desist letters demanding they stop using his likeness. The show's response was making Ari Gold even more outrageous in later seasons. Emanuel eventually dropped the legal threats, realizing the character was good publicity despite being unflattering. Jeremy Piven met with Emanuel multiple times to study his mannerisms and speech patterns. The real Ari Emanuel is reportedly exactly as intense as the fictional version, just slightly less likely to throw phones. The character that defined the show almost got them sued by the person who inspired it. The show filmed at actual celebrity homes and parties. Many of Entourage's mansion scenes, pool parties, and celebrity gatherings were filmed at real Hollywood events with real celebrities attending. Production would coordinate with actual parties happening in LA, bring cameras, and film the cast mingling with genuine partygoers. This blurred reality and fiction. Extras at parties were sometimes actual industry people, not hired actors. The poker games, club scenes, and networking events often featured real executives, producers, and celebrities who just happened to be there. This created authentic energy impossible to replicate with extras on a soundstage. It also meant the show captured real, mid-2000s Hollywood excess, the conspicuous consumption, the casual drug use, the transactional relationships. Some scenes had to be cut because real celebrities did things production couldn't legally show. The show's insider credibility came from literally being inside real Hollywood spaces. Later seasons relied more on sets as the production got too big for guerrilla filming, but early Entourage was genuinely embedded in actual LA nightlife. The Aquaman movie storyline predicted superhero franchise. Dominance. Season 3's major plot involves Vincent Chase starring in a massive Aquaman franchise before superhero movies dominated Hollywood. This was 2006, before Iron Man, before the MCU, when superhero films were risky bets. The show predicted that actors could build entire careers around franchise roles and that superhero movies would become Hollywood's dominant genre. James Cameron directing Aquaman as a serious blockbuster seemed ridiculous in 2006. By 2018, actual Aquaman made over $1 billion. The show's fictional movie industry trends became reality. Vince's anxiety about being typecast by franchise success, the pressure to do sequels, the tension between artistic credibility and commercial blockbusters all became real issues actors face today. Entourage essentially predicted the entire modern blockbuster landscape 5 years before it happened. Doug Ellen claims they were just exaggerating existing trends, but the specificity of the Aquaman storyline and franchise dynamics was weirdly prophetic about where Hollywood was heading. Kevin Dillon, drama, was nominated for 3 Emmys and never won. Kevin Dillon received 3 consecutive Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor playing Johnny Drama and lost every single time. His performance was consistently praised as the show's comedic heart, the desperate older brother clinging to fading fame. Drama's delusions, insecurities, and occasional moments of genuine talent made him the most fully realized character. Critics loved Dillon's commitment to making drama pathetic, but sympathetic. Yet he never won, losing to other supporting actors in more serious dramas. Dillon handled it gracefully publicly, but admitted frustration privately. Drama became his signature role, more recognizable than anything else in his career. The Emmy snubs became a running joke. Dillon was essentially Johnny Drama in real life, talented but overlooked. After Entourage ended, Dillon struggled to find roles with the same impact. The character that should have won him awards instead became what he's primarily remembered for, despite never getting industry recognition. Sometimes being perfectly cast as an underappreciated character means becoming underappreciated yourself. The show's portrayal of women. Aged terribly, Entourage treated women as interchangeable props, plot devices without agency or depth beyond their relationships to male characters. In 2004, this barely registered as problematic. By the show's end in 2011, critics were openly calling it misogynistic. Female characters exist to date the guys, cause drama, then disappear. Women with careers are portrayed as cold or emasculating. The casual objectification and transactional view of relationships that seemed edgy in 2004 became increasingly uncomfortable. The show never evolved or acknowledged criticism, doubling down on its male fantasy perspective through all 8 seasons. The 2015 movie was critically savaged partly because its gender politics felt prehistoric. What worked as aspirational bro fantasy in the mid-2000s became a cultural artifact of how toxic masculinity was normalized in that era. Rewatching Entourage now is watching a show completely unconcerned with half its potential audience. It's a time capsule of pre-Me Too Hollywood attitudes that wouldn't fly today. The show's legacy is complicated by how poorly its gender politics aged. The final season was shortened. Because everyone was done season 8, the final season only has 8 episodes compared to previous seasons' 12 to 20 episodes. This wasn't an artistic choice. It was everyone involved wanting the show to end. The cast was tired of playing the same characters, HBO saw declining ratings, and creatively, there was nowhere left to go. Vince's storylines had become repetitive cycles of success, self-destruction, and redemption. The shortened final season was a compromise. HBO wanted closure, the creators wanted out. Production felt rushed. Storylines were compressed. Character arcs that needed space got abbreviated. The finale, trying to wrap up 8 years in one episode, felt forced because it was forced. Jeremy Piven was already committed to other projects. Adrian Grenier was openly done with the show. The show created an entire generation of terrible assistants. Entourage glamorized being someone's assistant to an absurd degree. Turtle does essentially nothing except drive Vince around, smoke weed, and occasionally run errands, yet lives in a mansion and attends exclusive parties. This created unrealistic expectations for an entire generation entering Hollywood. Agencies and production companies were flooded with applicants who thought being an assistant meant hanging out with celebrities. Reality is brutal. Actual assistants work 80-hour weeks for terrible pay, doing genuinely degrading tasks. The show portrayed assistants as cool friends who happen to work for someone. Actual assistants are overworked, underpaid, and rarely see glamorous moments. Industry professionals blame Entourage for creating years of entitled assistants who expected the turtle lifestyle and quit when faced with actual work. HBO regrets not ending the show. After season 5, we're overstaying its welcome. The 2015 movie, greenlit as fan service, was a critical and commercial disappointment that damaged the show's